Hey everyone, Strangers123 here today with yet another viewer replay cast. Before we get on with the replay, I'd just like to say I've been messing with my audio settings again, so hopefully they actually sound alright now. I mean, last time I got some pretty good settings, I broke them because I forgot to save, and the program, well, Adobe Audition crashed on me, and rip. So I finally decided to put in some more effort and try to get some decent settings going on again, so we'll see. Hopefully they sound okay. So I'll leave that up to you guys. Leave a comment in the chat, comment section below, even. Oh, I said chat because Twitch is where I feel more at home. But leave a comment in the comment section down below, and tell me what you like, what you don't like. If you have any ideas on what I should be looking to improve, because I'm absolutely horrible when it comes to audio settings and anything that requires any form of fidelity whatsoever. It's just not the way I am. Regardless, the replay here is from Fel Vadan, and it is a pretty top tier Missouri game here. You can see most of the teams are tier 8. There is a tier 10 destroyer per team, but that's not a major deal because, well, I mean, only 2 destroyers. So, in general, I don't think that's going to be a major problem. So, for all intents and purposes, we're top tier because we're in Missouri. So, yeah, looks like we're also going to have a, well, we're definitely docking with this key. So, yeah, kind of meh. Doesn't really cost us anything. No one's really getting shot at the moment, so it's, well, shouldn't be a problem. Pushing ahead, we got the top tier capital battleship spawn, so we're also, on the decent side of the map to boot. We don't need to, cross from east to west or something, get screwed because you get a horrible spawn considering where you want to go or something like that. So, I mean, that is something that you'd have to keep in mind when playing World of Warships. Akifuki gets spotted, but oh yeah, we can definitely take a shot at that. I'm pretty sure we could have shot past the island there. I'm not actually sure. We might have derped it into the island if we tried, or if we waited a little bit and tried to take the shot now. But he's gone, so meh. We're running the concealment build, so they don't know we're here yet, and we can get our 9.5 kilometer radar up closer. Gearing should be careful. He's kind of broadside, and this is a bit of an older replay. Looks like the gearing is taking a bit of a hammering. Just need to scroll in twice to get rid of the press shifting in Majiggy. Opening on the Bismarck, we don't actually get any hits. We're probably running the dispersion module upgrade, even module dispersion upgrade, because that's a pretty standard thing to do on US battleships, the N9 and 10. Unless, of course, you want to go for a full AA build, but, then your guns can be a little bit troll and a little bit derpy. Anyways, our gearing actually torps down the enemy Aki, who got himself islanded, so, hey guys, nuts are here. New Orleans, one of them's kind of broadside, the other one is bow on, taking the shot. If the guy fully commits to a turn, he could probably have actually gotten away and turned away, but it looks like he didn't seem to be too interested in that, so we do actually bleed him for 14k there. No Citadel, so our shells did go a little bit too high. We could actually Citadel him at that angle. It's not guaranteed, but the chance existed there, but we didn't get lucky enough to do so. Taking a bit of fire from the New Orleans. I mean, losing AA guns here isn't a major problem. The other one actually gets himself behind cover, well, into concealment again. But with our gearing down, that's our tier 10, traded for Aki. Not the world's best trade. However, at least on the other side, that their Z52 is, spotted over there, and he's just sailed in front of a bunch of stuff, including a Chapayev, so it doesn't look like he's having too good of a time over there. Now we're going to radar here, probably just to see if we can catch the Bismarck, and the timing of that is impeccable. We actually catch him as he's coming around the corner there. So we get a little bit of preemptive time, aiming slightly under lead. You want to try to drop the shells a little bit further ahead there, but 5 full pens, so that paid off perfectly. Turns out that Z52 actually torps down our Chopper, who's far enough away from him. But the Bismarck traces Z52 in the kill feed there, so that's a perfectly good result for us. Looks like we're going to tuck ourselves behind this island, but we're not going concealed over here. We're bleeding, and we early trigger our heal there just to make sure that we get the most amount of, time, if you want. Reduce the amount of time between the heal trigger. Now, the heal that's coming up next, we get a really nice salvo off on the New Orleans, leaving up on 164 health. That's it was not a that salvo was not guaranteed to do that, but we get kind of lucky and it happens. We bleed a lot of health, and we actually don't have much in our damage control, so 46-second fires, they do actually bleed quite a lot of your health throughout the period of a game. So you do need to be careful of that. Charles gets in the distance, but at the moment he's not really a problem. The Bismarck's actually in a position to hydro us. It doesn't have acquisition, but there you go. It's likely the Bismarck using hydro. I mean, the New Orleans could have radar, but that kind of is a bit of a waste. If that baguette is using the baguette boost, then that's massively underled salvo. But it turns out he didn't recognize that correctly, so he's turning into it. But even then, it's mostly undershot. So, shooting at baguettes with that baguette boost on does require you to give a quite hefty amount of lead for you to land shells on them. So just something to keep in mind. This is an older replay though, but regardless, you see a lot of people who do need to keep that in mind when engaging at, baguettes overall. Amagi up, that's 30 odd knots and a 16k range, so, but it's still an Amagi and slightly under-led salvo, so chances are we're not going to pick up much more than 5k damage. 5.8, that's not bad at all, so 1 full pen plus, no, actually no, I'm actually not sure. Screw doing maths right now, right? New Orleans looks like he doesn't want to live anymore, he's charging down the Xianyang. The kind of issue here is that the Xianyang's at an angle to us, looks like he's completely derped his first salvo of torpedoes. But we're holding the shot at the moment. There's no real point, in my opinion, of holding the shot because you can see in the map the guy is fully charging down the Xianyang, so it's unlikely they're going to give us an angle whatsoever. So we might as well just send it. His actual rear turret's facing like in an awkward direction, so he actually would have to fully give us the broadside. He would have to give us if he had given us broadside, he would have been able to swivel the number 3 turret into the action as well. But at the moment, that didn't seem to be the case, so we just bled some DPM there. Potentially, we could have reloaded it already. Maybe we, can reduce the bleed on the Xianyang. But it looks like he's going for the ram trade just to ensure the kill. I mean, he could have close past them, citadeled them a little, perhaps citadeled them and just close past them driven by, and evaded his gun turrets and, let us kill him. But we didn't really have a good shot on him anymore, so... I mean, it's a fair trade. I mean, sure, we lost our last destroyer as well. But we have the B cap, so it's unlikely they're going to get it back. So we need to kind of push up and try to nail the alpha cap as well. Once we get control of that, we're going to be able to start making up the points deficit due to the ship's loss. However, B's been taken in our favor, and, well, they don't have a cap yet. They will probably get one soon. However, chances are that Bismarck over there and the Tirpitz there are going to find themselves going down. So we might as well just count them as losses, because you can see the entire enemy team fleet is chasing them. This Bismarck's low, and the Tirpitz, he might have some health left, but, he's the closer one. But this Bismarck's definitely not making it out of there alive. This guy can make it out, but he's going to probably bleed a lot of health in the process. So now for us, we just need to start applying pressure and dealing with the Alpha group. That's the most important thing. We are already a little bit late on that, because... Well, I mean, the more time we dawdle away here, the higher the chance that we're going to get flanked and shot at from behind. We still don't have the alpha cap yet, but, the New Orleans or the Baltimore can definitely deal with that at some point. Baguette gets spotted, and the Amagi is now basically within our perma spotting range. We can't really shoot the Baguette unless he, exposes himself. So we might as well shoot the Amagi. He's angled, so, I mean, if you want to deal with an Amagi like that, you can just load AT and spam him. Looks like we're radaring the Baguette, but he's pushing in towards B, so we don't have any kind of shot on him whatsoever. So at this point, we might as well just ignore him. He's not something we can really engage. And it looks like the Amagi is keen on giving us a intriguing angle, so we're going to salvo as fast as we can. He doesn't even shoot us. So we can, shoot and then re-angle, and wow, that was a ridiculously lucky salvo. Only 3 overpens and 5 pens, so 8 out of 9 hit and, well, the damage, basically. So that was ridiculously lucky in a way, but also kind of to be expected. Amagi armor is one of these things that, when it works great, but it doesn't really work that amazing against certain types of guns. Like against German battleships angled at medium range, they can't really do anything to you. But in general, Amagi angle is incredibly strong in terms of the armor. Now, with the Cyclone having set in and no longer having a radar for the Charles Baguette, it's kind of not our problem to deal with him at the moment. We need to get rid of this Amagi, and loading AT on him definitely is a consideration. It's unlikely he's going to broadside us. I mean, even if he does broadside us, and we shoot AT at close range, it's probably all going to get derped into his belt and do nothing. But, I mean, he's low enough HP that we can probably just kill him off right now. So we just need to organize a number 3 turret, get it swiveled, and use the right mouse button to free look without swiveling the turrets thing, and we definitely should try to get our number 3 turret engaged instead of just keeping it out of the fight right now, because we're never going to kill an Amagi like that, and We're swiveling guns to engage the Charles Baguette, and now our number 3 turret is going to be out of the fire for even longer. Now we're swiveling it the other way, so it's losing a few more seconds. This is actually something incredibly important to keep in mind. In a close quarters combat situation like this, Baltimore takes out the Amagi, and looks like there's some return skill from the Charles Baguette. The Hipper should easily be able to evade that if he decides that he wants to evade them. And the Baguette is going to have to... Ooh, he actually took them. Oh, I mean, at least it takes the ones that potentially could have hit us. And now you can see the downside of not having used a number 3 turret and swivel it properly. Now swivel to the wrong side of the ship, and the Baguette, if he's smart and keen about it, he could actually tuck himself around the island before our guns get loaded again. Shooting AP at us is, well, actually does quite a lot of damage with it. All of it goes into our superstructure. But the Baguette screwed himself over with that. He's actually he lost his chance to get around the island corner and actually evade us. And even if he does get, more than 8 kilometers away as we're turning, and it's not actually a big problem because, well, we can always just radar him and, spot him at 9.5, and at that point he can't even shoot back. Now our Turpitz actually gets a double strike, so he picks up some enemies, and he's kind of in B right now, stuck. But he's not really, there's nothing we can do for him right now. The guys in A are trying to pile up there to support him, but we need to deal with this Charles Baguette right now, and some torpedoes coming up behind, not a big deal. 1,306 health means that one overpen will kill, but we get a full pen, so it wouldn't have mattered. Even without the secondary hit, we would have likely killed him up front there. Now our options are either to immediately head in this direction and join with the team into a big concise blob, and that looks like what the Baguette was attempting to torpedo, assuming we're going to head straight down there, but we decide we're actually going to flank around. Not a bad decision. It does mean we're going to be out of combat for a little bit longer, meaning that the North Carolina and the Turpitz was already YOLO'd in. Hopefully he can trade a lot of torpedo damage in there. But he's definitely going to go down. Well, definitely, I can't see. But most likely he's about to go down due to the fact that there's a rune there, and, runes have these things called torpedoes as well. So, him rushing in there is likely just to trade as much damage as possible and basically go down dealing as much damage as possible. Because right now we're back in control of the match. We may have been low on ships in the beginning. We may have lost the Bismarck. The Turpitz actually got away with it. New Orleans picks up the runes, so that's actually a pretty fair trade. Turpitz finally ends up going down, and the rune torps down the New Orleans in the process as well. So that's actually a bit of an unfortunate trade. However, the important thing is to keep in mind that he's likely done a lot of damage there. So, without being able to see it, if he's done a lot of damage to the, to the Monarch and, the group over there, then that's actually a reasonably fair health-wise trade. Because we're still reasonably healthy. The North Carolina is still reasonably healthy, although he can quickly bleed a lot of health to the Monarch if a close pass goes in favor of the Monarch. But, the same can go the other way as well. So it really is a question of who gets better end of a close pass, and it turns out the North Carolina got it. So the NC now just needs a hard break away and build his angle again instead of turning into the island, and it turns out that the North Carolina opted to try to maintain guns facing as much as possible instead of protecting his own health. Currently he's leading the trade by a long shot until the Baltimore engaging the broadside with HE. Early triggering radar here just to see in case anyone is pushing. However, we can no longer get 2 salvos in because of the fact that, our reload. But it doesn't matter, it'll give us an early impression of where the North Carolina and remaining Missouri are. And there you go, Missouri gets spotted bow on approaching, and the North Carolina gets spotted somewhat broadside. That's a little bit overled. You kind of want to drop the shells. Let me just pause it here. You kind of want to drop the shells instead of where we're going to drop them on the bow. You want to drop them at the aft end section. For those that seen saw the Amagi, pause it, speed it up a little bit. You remind me how much the replays are annoying, because we aim with the lead here, which means the shells are going to fall here. We aim the lead about here, our shells would fall around here, which gives us a potential for citadel damage. And you can see those shells going in right now. You can see they're all hitting the bow end area. One of them even deflected, 1 full pen, and that really was kind of an impressive. Just scroll out a little bit. We're trying to line on the shot, and that's much better aim there on the second one. But he gets himself out of range now there. 2 other pens, kind of unlucky. They probably all flew high. And now the North Carolina is going for the attempted ram trade against Missouri. Definitely the right choice there by the North Carolina to take. If he is able to ram trade the Missouri, okay. If we do that, now all of a sudden North Carolina shouldn't go for the ram trade. But in that high health situation, going for the ram trade definitely is the correct move. Because what that means is that the North Carolina is basically trading his remaining health for the kill on the Missouri. But in this case, we deal the damage in with our main guns, and well, he goes with the ram trade, but unfortunately, what that means is that he goes down in the process. When if he, if he managed to avoid it, he says so in the chat. You can see that he didn't want to go for the ram trade. Definitely the right thing to not go for the ram trade in that position. So yeah, but hey, it worked out. He died, and we got a lot of damage off that. So we still have this Baltimore down. So a ram trade isn't going to result in some awkward draw or something. So we just need to push into the North Carolina, and the Baltimore just needs to stay alive. And we can in this case, like I said, go for the ram trade against the North Carolina, and that will not be a problem. For asking if he's radaring, he definitely was, because there's no way he'd set a spot for the island. I mean, it's not a big deal, because the moment we go around the corner, we're going to have visual on him. We know where he is approximately, and, well, he didn't really know exactly which way of the island we came. And now we're under-leading. That salvo is going a little bit too short, but, we still pick up one Citadel. I'm pretty sure it's a shell that went to the right, but if we got that dispersion and aimed it about one main gun turret width to the right a little bit more, chances are we could have gotten a good chunk more damage off that, if not up front wiped out like 60-70% plus of his remaining health. Looks like we are attempting for the ram trade, but if you want to go for the ram trade in this kind of a situation, you have to move your bow in like this. Going for another shot on him, good damage, 10k damage, but at this point, a ram trade, and he just fired at us, and he's actually targeting our main guns. Definitely the smart thing. We're damage conning that just to get the reload sequence started. And as you can see now, this is, because we didn't properly lead our ship correctly, we're no longer on an intercept path, and now we're on a chasing path. So, awkward situation commence. At least the Missouri is a good chunk faster than the North Carolina. We can do 33 knots stock, it does 27.5. So, the difference, well, means that we'll catch up to him, and we can actually, at this point, this is actually kind of useful for us, because we can basically ram into him and grind him down. Now, he was targeting our main gun turrets, and he's actually critted one of them already, so if we want to be a dick, what we can do is to target his rear turret back and either force him to turn or make him lose his ability to shoot back at us. And there you go, he's shooting at our number 2 turret again, the one that just got broken earlier, so there is a small chance he can actually kill that. We're not zooming out, so we're just hitting him in the superstructure and just missing, but hey, here, we're almost catching up to him. We just have a look. There you go, almost there, and there you go. We collide, and at this kind of low speed, it's not going to be an instant kill, because the effective ramming speed is like 1 knot, so 1 or 2 knots, it's nothing. But here's the funny thing. We have the advantages here, because we've got just so much more health than him, and, well, we can just eventually ram him to death like this. Derping him in the superstructure again, another 2,700 overpans. North Carolina actually makes a mistake there. The North Carolina should not have attempted to turn. The North Carolina should have just gone in a straight line and rammed the island, because the moment he hits the island, he kills us as well. And there's a good chance he would have survived, because us ramming into his tail like that is pushing him further and giving him acceleration. So if you're ever in the situation of that North Carolina, go in a straight line with the island in front of you, ram the island. The moment you hit the island, you die, and the guy behind you takes the full 66,000 damage as well. Well, at least in theory he should, because the rapid sudden deceleration means that the Missouri's, you suddenly hitting 0 knots, the Missouri behind you, who's now traveling at 30-odd knots, is going to smack you at 30-odd knots, and, well, the normal ramming mechanics will do the job. So, there you go, 247,811 damage in the end, 57 main gun hits, 6 citadels, I think these are secondary hits. Whatever, who cares? We got a Die Hard in the end, pretty hilarious ending over there. Definitely a nice bonus to a pretty good score overall, although half of this basically came at the very end of the game, where we got these 6 citadels, which basically, well, 6, I think we got 4. But we got a lot of damage against the Missouri and North Carolina for free in the end. They fed us from about 130k decent Missouri game into a very solid one indeed. But the Cyclone did mean that we got put out of combat for a little bit, but the time we got put out of combat wasn't too long. I felt that we definitely could have pushed the western side, the Alpha side, a little bit earlier, gotten ourselves into the A cap. The Bismarck got eventually killed. It's a Bismarck, not a Tirpitz. It doesn't get access to the torpedoes. Doesn't mean we want to sail broadside past him or anything weird like that, so he still held a incredibly important position. But in general, with the enemy team trying to push down the eastern side of the map, killing the Bismarck and sending the Tirpitz back in towards the middle, meant that we also needed to equally push the pressure, and we did. We managed to take out the enemy fleet with a little bit of luck against the Armageddon fleet and the enemy Charles Baguette, messing up his angling and his positioning and his kind of turn management in his long-term strategic move. His long-term strategic moves. He didn't really plan them out fully, and he ended up showing us broadside when he really didn't want to because he was too close to the island. And he didn't try to attempt to sneak himself around the corner of the island. Instead, tried to torpedo us, which resulted in him not being able to escape our wrath. Anyways, just to say it again, I've been messing with audio settings. I hope they sound all right. If anything breaks or anything, let me know in the comment section below if you think the better or if you think the worse compared to the previous video. I'll be probably spending some more time throughout the next week fiddling with the settings if I can't actually get them into something I like a little bit more. But when it comes to audio settings, I am absolutely horrible, and I really don't pay enough attention. I don't know enough about it, so kind of relying on you guys to tell me what you like, what you think I should change and what not. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.